Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Nacho Problems, where we turn ordinary recipes into extraordinary nachos. I'm Nacho Queen, but you can call me M. Well guys, I figured if we're going to keep this thing going, we need to get back out to our Nacho World Tour. And our first stop is Greece, because this week we're making Moussaka Nachos. Now, I'll start off by saying that there are a lot of variations of this dish. My recipe is a layered dish very similar to a lasagna, but with potatoes and eggplant instead of pasta. If you've tried another version, let me know in the comments what ingredients it had. I'd love to try new things. Let's get started. Step 1, the toppings. We're going a little out of order today because our cheese is one that should be made last minute, and our topping needs time to simmer. So for that we need 1 pound ground beef, ground lamb also works, 2 onions chopped, or half of one absolutely massive onion that you're pretty sure was a mutant, 2 tablespoons garlic, 1 can diced tomatoes, 2 tablespoons tomato paste, 1 teaspoon sugar, 1 teaspoon salt, half a teaspoon pepper, 1 cup of red wine, 1 bay leaf, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a 1/4 cup of olive oil. Start by adding the oil and onions to a large pan over medium heat and saute for 6 to 8 minutes until soft and starting to brown. I'm not joking guys, this really was only half of an onion. Next, add in the ground beef and break it up as it cooks. Once it's mostly browned, add in the garlic and tomato paste and stir well, cooking for another few minutes. Next, add in the red wine and continue to cook for another 5 minutes. Now add in the tomatoes, cinnamon, sugar, salt, pepper, and bay leaf and stir well. Now just cover, reduce heat to low, and simmer for 30 minutes. And that's the topping. We can move on to Step 2, the chips. I'm going to turn the potatoes and eggplant into our chips, and for that we need 1 eggplant or aubergine, 2 large potatoes, I'm using russets, 2 egg whites, save the yolks for the cheese, half a cup of milk, about 2 cups of panko or other breadcrumbs, and about half a cup of flour. We're going to start by slicing our potatoes. Now, I'm using my mandolin slicer because my knife skills are atrocious, but just try to get them fairly thin and fairly consistent in thickness. Next, we're going to soak them in ice water for at least an hour. While they soak, we'll work on the eggplant. Again, I love my mandolin. To bread these, we're going to place flour in one bowl, mix the milk and egg whites together in another, and place the panko in the final bowl. Dip each slice first into flour, then into milk, and finally coat with panko. I first made eggplant chips last summer when we did ratatouille nachos, and oh my god, they're so good. I have to confess that this entire recipe was really just an excuse to make them again. Now time to fry. I have my oil heated to 375 Fahrenheit or 190 C, and I'm going to fry these for about 1 to 2 minutes on each side until golden brown. Then remove them to a paper towel lined plate, and let's get back to our potatoes. Drain them from the ice water and then give them a good rinse. I know I've mentioned this before, but always dry potatoes as much as possible before frying. Water and oil don't mix, and they like each other even less when they're hot. Now, ideally, I should double fry these like I did for the fish and chip nachos, but the kids are hungry, so we'll do a single fry at 375 degrees for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. And that's our chips. Next up is Step 3, the cheese. For our cheese, we'll be making a bechamel sauce, and for that we need 2 cups of milk, 4 tablespoons butter, 4 tablespoons flour, 3.5 ounces or about 2/3 of a cup Parmigiano Reggiano. I think I said that right. I don't know, correct me in the comments. 2 egg yolks, left over from the chips, a 1/4 teaspoon salt, and a pinch of nutmeg. This is a 1/4 teaspoon here, it was too much. Start by melting your butter in a small sauce pot over medium heat. Then add in the flour and cook for about 2 minutes, stirring regularly. While that cooks, heat up your milk for about a minute in the microwave. It doesn't need to be hot, but warm is good. Now add the milk to the pot in a slow and steady stream while you whisk constantly. Enlist your cameraman to help if needed. Cook for about 4 to 5 minutes or until it thickens slightly. Then remove it from the heat and add in the cheese, salt, nutmeg, and egg yolks, and whisk vigorously. You don't want to scramble the eggs. And that's our cheese. Next up is step 4, let's eat. As always, we're going to start with our chips. I think I'm going to alternate the eggplant and potato. Then spoon on some of the meat sauce. Add a nice drizzle of the bechamel. And finish off with a sprinkle of cheese and I think maybe some parsley for color. Now let's see who's up for taste tester today. And the wheel spins and lands on cameraman. He liked the eggplant chips better than the potatoes, and he felt that the meat sauce was a little heavy on the onions. But otherwise, it was a win. We not only had this for dinner that night, but used all the leftovers as side dishes for dinners the next few nights. Well, that's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, give it a like and please consider subscribing if you want to see more nacho videos. If you have an idea for a future video, you can leave a comment below or tag me on the site previously known as Twitter. I'm at NachoProblemsYT. I've also linked my Blue Sky below, but you won't find me on Facebook, Instagram, or Threads. If you're looking to steal my apron, well, that's nacho merch, but you can get your own at a link in the description. Now, it's been storming so badly here the last week that my greenhouse tried to go for a walk and my backyard has been declared protected marshlands. But I hope for your sake, that's not your problem. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.